What on this computer? Okay, I'll give it a go, eh? If you don't want to be on the picture, you just make yourself unavailable, but it's nicer for and when she can see you, you know, because otherwise it's talking to a wall. But anyway, so for the people, you know, for the people who don't know me, but I'm Jose. I live in Brisbane. I took kinesiology and brain gym, and I guess like many others, you know, I'm a lifelong learner. I just keep learning, but maybe I'm a workshopaholic. Who knows? I met Anne a few years ago. I can't remember how many years ago. So
yeah, and I can't remember where we met. Oh, we met online. We met on Facebook. That's right.
And then you came over to Brisbane to teach Heart Speak, but I can't remember when it was. So, but it was a while ago. It was before COVID, and
definitely before COVID, probably 2017,
maybe 17, yeah. And then so I've used I still use it actually, Heart Speak, in my work, and I think it's really a wonderful tool to have in your work. You can use it on standalone or combined, you know, in your soup mix. It's really wonderful tool. And Dr. Anne, she went all the way to Oxford to study, and she was proving that muscle is really a valuable tool.
Oh,
she wrote a paper about it, right?
Yeah, several, yes. Yeah, my whole dissertation. That's a whole nother talk.
Yes. So she's very on the ball, you know. So, but anyway, I won't wait. Yeah. I won't make you wait for a long time. So I give you the floor to you. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Josie. Yeah, so I've been a chiropractor. How I got into emotional wellness was I was a chiropractor, and I noticed when my patients' symptoms, when they were stressed or worried or upset, they had more symptoms. And then when their life was going well, their symptoms, they seemed to be okay. And that made me really curious and about how stress impacted the body, you know, mind impacted the body impacted the mind. So I started studying psychology. I got my master's in psychology. Now I'm both a chiropractor and a psychologist. And I was also doing research in my practicing in Townsville at the time. And because I wasn't sure if the changes I was seeing in people were real or anyway. So I did some research, did it poorly, said I need to do more research. I need to learn how to do research. So I went to Oxford and I applied to go to Oxford, and I was accepted to study. I wanted to do a big randomized trial on depression and HeartSpeak, but because HeartSpeak uses muscle testing, they said, whoa, wait. So I had to do my whole PhD on muscle testing. Well, they said they wanted me to show them that muscle testing worked before they let me do the randomized trial. So anyway, that took a life of its own. Never did the HeartSpeak trial yet, but showed that muscle testing can accurately detect truth from lies. So lies from truth, we should say. So it is, and how I got to emotional wellness was I needed HeartSpeak in my teens, in my 20s, in my 30s. I was all over the show, very emotional. Even growing up as a child, everyone said to me, oh, you grow a thicker skin. I grew up in New York, by the way. And you know, everyone, people are tough in New York, you know, F this and what's the matter with you, you know. I took that really hard. It was very difficult. And I could have used HeartSpeak as a child because I had all these feelings I didn't know what to do with. And one of the things that I knew, as a child, I knew when people were lying because I got angry. I got really angry. I only put that together later, but that was it. I was angry. And needless to say, I'm an empath, I'm a feeler, I feel before I know. And I just I just was overwhelmed with feelings. So I started to pick feelings apart using muscle testing, because I already had learned how to muscle test through other channels. I took applied kinesiology, and other muscle testing techniques. So I just started feeling my way through these really big upsets, one feeling at a time. And then the upsets weren't as bad. And I realized that, we can have control over how we react to situations. And I became really clear to me that it's not so much you get upset, because sometimes it's important that we do become upset. That's part of life. But if we stay upset, that's the problem. And also that we're triggered. My theory is that the universe could throw any situation at us, and we choose how we behave, we react. And that wasn't always the case in my life. So I wanted choice about how I reacted. I didn't want to get upset about that. And on a logical level, I knew I shouldn't be upset about that, because it didn't make sense. I could talk myself logically and think, oh yeah, that's fine. But then I still was upset. So I didn't want to be upset anymore. So I had to develop heart speak for me first. And then I started teaching. So I have a little presentation. I might share that now. Let's see, here it is. Here's a little introduction to Heart Speak. So the purpose of today is to talk to you a little bit about what feelings are, what I believe, my understanding of what feelings are, and how feelings / stress can impact your life, and how HeartSpeak can help, basically. And then I'm going to give you some tools. We call them HeartSpeak tools. I'm going to do some HeartSpeak demonstrations and answer questions. But before we do that, because I'm a chiropractor, I have to put some posture exercises in. But this was profound when I started to feel this. So I'm going to ask everyone to help, if you want to play along. So I'm going to ask you to really sit up tall, shoulders back, head back, really open up and have really great posture. Tilt your head back slightly, put your palms open and up, and then look in your heart space for a feeling of love. Notice how easy it is to feel, or where it is. I want you to look for it in here first. Okay, and then let's come into a ball, a tight ball. And in that tight ball, look for a feeling of fear. Look for fear in your heart space. Fear is, oh no, what if? And then come sitting up again. And let's try the opposite. Let's take a big open posture, head back, shoulders back, chest out. Good posture, palms open and up. And look for fear in this open posture. Look for it in your heart space first. Notice how easy or hard it is to feel fear. And then let's come into a closed posture, into a ball. And in this closed posture, look in your heart space for a feeling of love. And notice, just notice. And then when you're ready, sit up. So did you notice it was harder to feel fear when you're open? Did you notice that? Just give me a thumbs up if you notice that. Yeah. How about in the closed posture? Did you note it was kind of hard to feel love in the closed posture, wasn't it? Give me a thumbs up if you noticed that. Yeah. So because I'm a feeler, I notice these things quite, it's in my face, basically. I notice it straight away. I'm going to show you something else about posture, which I just found very interesting recently, is I'm going to ask you to just close your eyes and look for a feeling of sad. And then make a big frowny face, boohoo face, pouty face, put that lower lip out. See how the sadness jumps up a level? A degree or so. And then let's add a tilt your head down with a pouty face. And you see how it jumps up another notch? It's easier to feel sad. And then force your head into flexion. And for me, when I force my head into flexion, sadness just comes out like that. Did anyone notice that? Forced flexion just really gets my sad going. Yeah. Anyone else notice that? Yeah. All right. So for me, the mind and body are one. You really can't separate one from the other. One affects the body, affects the mind affects the body. And we are always trying to balance the head logic, like what you logically know to be so, and your heart, what your heart wants. Sometimes that's not so easy. Oftentimes we live in a world where, thoughts win out, we try to make things logical. Thoughts are much more valued in today's society rather than feelings. In fact, feelings are, thought nothing of, they're put aside, they're made fun of, people are ridiculed. That's changing, but it's still pretty prevalent. In fact, thoughts, the thinking mind thinks it's driving, thinks it's in charge, thinks it's steering, knows what it wants. I'm going to set goals, and in 2 years I'm going to do this, in 5 years, 10 years down the track, this is what's going to happen. And yes, I can control this, and yes, I can control that. In fact, it thinks it's steering so much that it doesn't even realize that there are feelings at all. In fact, feelings, to get your attention, they actually have to shout at you. They have to shout loudly to get you to pay attention to feelings. And that's why we don't like feelings. We don't like to feel because it's uncomfortable. It's painful. It's unpleasant oftentimes. I mean, I'm talking about, the sadnesses and the fears and the angers and things like that. Yeah, there are some conditions that are linked to harmful feelings like stress and depression, etc. Here's a list, and if you have a look at this list, it's quite extensive, quite broad. This is what the research shows. I did a search, not a Google search, an actual PubMed search on which conditions worsen with, for example, stress, anxiety, depression. Yeah. And I found these that are directly linked. These conditions will get worse when we're under stress or are anxious or depressed. And it's quite a big, extensive list. there's not one particular organ or system that's involved. It's pretty much scattered throughout the body. And this, everyone will react in a different way when they're under stress. So I'm really happy to suggest to you that any condition, any symptom that might happen to emerge in your mind body could be linked to a feeling. In fact, I believe that it is actually the feelings that drive behavior. You know, the thoughts, the thinking mind thinks it's in charge, but it really isn't. In Heartspeak, we use the concept that there's two minds. There's the logical mind, or the thinking mind, and the feeling mind. The logical mind is like Sheldon Cooper on The Big Bang Theory, or Dr. Spock from Star Trek. Everything is just so. There's hardly any facial expressions. That's why I love watching Big Bang. I love watching Sheldon's face, which is basically blank. On the other hand, the feeling mind is your typical 2-year-old. There's not a lot of thinking going on, just feeling. Or a dog. Okay? The logical mind does these things: rationalizes, explains, describes, categorizes, tries to make sense of the world around you. It's trying to figure it out. Where the feeling mind really doesn't want to figure things out. It just really wants to feel. But some of the things it does, it doesn't think or reason. It's really not too easy to reason with a dog or a 2-year-old. Doesn't get it. It's also imprecise, which means that in your feeling mind, if it's close enough. For example, the feeling mind does not care if you're angry or frustrated. It just wants to have a tantrum. And the feeling mind doesn't care if you were 7 or 8 when that happened. It just wants to express itself. It also reacts quickly. It reacts first to the overall picture before it has all the information. Now, during my psychology degrees, I met this on most occasions that I was taught by lecturers that thoughts come before feeling. The thoughts come before feelings. When I met the researcher who showed the opposite, that feelings come before thoughts. By milliseconds, but enough to make a big neurological impact. But we need to do this. We need to react first before we have all the information. This is a survival tactic. And the feeling mind needs to react quickly. It's also indiscriminating. It connects similar things. If it's close, if 2 stimuli are close and this worked the first time, it will do the same thing the next time. And if the next time is similar to this, it will do the same. This in our lives would look something like this. And this all can happen non-consciously. We don't even know we're doing it. You know, my new boyfriend, he's a man. And you know what? My dad was a man. You know, my ex-husband was a man. You know what? So I'm going to just treat them all the same. So, and you know, don't kind of beat yourself up over this, because this is all, you've learned this behavior. So you've learned this patterns. It also talks in absolutes. If you ever hear your partner and if you're having a discussion and the words always, never, all, or none come in, this is when you need a break. Yeah. You never listen to me. Well, okay, I'm just going to go to the toilet for a minute. I'll be back in 20 minutes. And it's, you know, you hear it with kids all the time. Mama, you never let me do this. You always let him. He took all the, you know, that is the feeling mind, classic. It also thinks personally. It thinks it's responsible for things it's not responsible for. This is why children love magic and magical thinking and Harry Potter and the wand and making it different. And when I was little, it was Bewitched. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Or this one, I Dream of Jeannie. I used to go around my house blinking, trying to make things different than they were. It didn't really work. So, but this can have pretty serious consequences for children, for adult children. For example, I have met adult children who still thinks that it was their fault their parents separated. You know, for example, through the muscle testing, you can uncover core beliefs, and for example, they would they have a core belief of, you know, it's my fault that daddy left. You know, if I was better behaved, you know, mommy would stop crying or something like that. So the feeling mind thinks it's all about me. And also thinks its beliefs are absolute. Its core beliefs are absolute. It doesn't really understand. It can't make sense out of the shades of gray out there. And it's also self-confirming, meaning, see, I'm right, see, I'm right, see, I'm right. It doesn't see any of the things that disconfirm the belief. So these distinctions between the feeling mind and the thinking mind are not this isn't my list. This is a list that was put forward by Dan Goleman, who wrote the book Emotional Intelligence. It's an appendix in the back of the book. So what we use this concept. Ideally, we use both minds equally, appropriately, and we call that the fully integrated mind. So that's the goal of HeartSpeak. All right, so let's do a demo. If you want to participate. If you don't, just watch. Okay, so being a chiropractor, I do like to do a physical thing first, because it's fun. Because we think our physical symptoms, you know, our minds, it can't really impact our physical symptoms, and they can. All right, everyone sit up nice and tall. Turn your head as far to the right as possible, as far to the left as possible. And if you're like most humans, you can't go as far one way as you can the other. And notice which way you can't go. All right, so it'll either be the right is worse or left. Whatever way, it doesn't matter. Whatever the worst way is, it's more restricted. Turn your head that way as much as you can and notice where the block is. And then use a hand and touch the block. Just the hand is more or less just trying to bring your body's attention to the block. Yeah, and then I'm going to muscle test. There is stress there. Okay, and you can take your hands away. And the intention I have when I do a group HeartSpeak like this is that the feeling, everything that comes up will be the best suited one for everyone. And yeah, you'll see. Okay, so, and let's pick it apart now, that block. It's an emotion. So fear, anger, sadness, disgust. All right, now we're all going to feel disgusted. And the thing with HeartSpeak, you do not have to know what the disgust's about. You don't have to, you can make it up. You can use your memory. You can use your imagination. It doesn't matter. Just feel disgust. Disgust is all in the yuck. You're going to close your eyes to focus inward. You're going to come forward. You're going to put a hand over your mouth because you might feel sick. Come forward and look for that feeling of disgust, that inner yuck. Like, I can't bear it. It's just disgusting. Feel disgusted. Like, oh, like I just can't. It's just gross. Ugh. Some people, your mouth might be watering at this point, or your tummy might be upset. That's normal. That's disgust. Feel disgust. Disgust. I just can't bear it. just can't. Ugh. Come on, one more big push of disgust. Yuck, 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 yuck. Ugh. All right, now sit up. Keep your eyes closed. Open up to your chest, your shoulders, head back, shoulders back, palms open and up, eyes closed, and look in your heart space for a feeling I'll call allowance. Be in allowance, which is whatever, water off a duck's back. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. Let allowance soak in. All is well with the world. Okay, when you feel ready, open your eyes. And then turn your head to the better side first, and then the worst side. And how did you go? Give me a thumbs up if you can go, if the block seems to have be different. A lot of times it's shifted. Oh, now instead of here, it's over here. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you get profound changes. You know, I've had demonstrations when I've done it in a live setting where people couldn't turn for more than like 45 degrees and they went all the way around after. It's pretty special. And let's do another demonstration. Share. I like to demonstrate pain too. And pain is a really interesting symptom. It is, I'm going to stop share again. When it goes up into the brainstem, spinal cord brain, and into the brainstem, it will then go directly to the emotional centers of the brain. So whenever there's any pain, and especially people with chronic pain, there's always there's always emotionality to it. So I'm going to ask you to either pick a physical pain. Maybe you have an ache or a pain. Maybe it's in your back, your hip, or your shoulder, or your neck. Wherever it is, just find a pain. And try to really feel how big it is. And I'm going to ask you to rate it 0 to 10. 0 means no pain. 10 is the most pain ever. You can also use an emotional pain, which is like a painful memory. The brain doesn't really understand the difference between emotional pain and physical pain. In the emotional centers, it's much for muchness. And if you are choosing an emotional, painful memory, sit with the painful memory and then rate it 0 to 10. But I would prefer to, if you have a physical pain, I'd rather you start with that. Some people don't have physical pain. So start with a physical pain. If we have time, we'll do an emotional pain for sure. And then give it a rating 0 to 10. Give me an idea of where you are with your pain. 7, wow. Anyone else? 4, 8, wow. Okay, great. So we got some high numbers, 5. All right, keep your pain number in your head. Keep in the focus of your front of your mind. I'm going to pick it apart a bit, and there's an emotion in there. Another emotion, so fear, anger. Anger is a fun one. Anger, we all know what that is. And we're going to use a technique I call the volcano technique. It's really hard to sustain a high level of anger, but we're going to use an explosive amount of anger and then let it go. And then let it build again and then let it go. Like lava building. All right. So you're going to close your eyes and make an angry face, a scowl. You're going to put your hands and fists and tighten those arms and just let that anger build. It doesn't matter what it is you're getting angry at. You can make it up. You can be real. It can be imagined. You can be personal or global. Doesn't matter what the anger is. Just let the volcano explode. And then let it go. And then let it build again. Let the anger build and build and build and build. And then let it go. And then build it again. Let it build in more. See, it's a little bit harder to get, but that's okay. Keep going. Build it, build it, build it. and then let it go. And then take a big breath in and open your bodies, shoulders back, head back, chest out, palms open and up. And then look for a joy in your heart space. Joy is that little lightness in there, that little flicker, that little flutter. Joy. Just let that fan, that flame of joy, let your heart dance with joy for a moment. It doesn't matter what it's about. Focus on the heart space. Feel joy. And then turn your attention to that pain we're working on. And then really try and stress that part wherever it was. Check it out. And give me in fingers as to where you are now. A 1, a 2, that's a good result. A 2, wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. A 2. That's great. You guys are good. All right. Let's do an emotional memory. Now, I will ask you if you have trauma, if you've suffered trauma in your life, and many of us have, I'm not going to ask you to pick the worst ever emotional memory you have, but pick something that hurt. Like I remember when I was 7, I didn't get invited to that birthday party and I'm still bitter about it. Okay? Just something that when you bring it to mind, it hurts still. Oh, it hurts. That would be really good to not hurt anymore. So we can turn it into a pain, turn it just into a memory, like a neutral memory. Like, oh yeah, that was that. All right, sit. Now I'm going to ask you to sit with it. I know most humans have lots of these memories. I don't know about you, but I do. Choose one. Focus on one. And really try to get upset about it. Work yourself up a bit. And as you're trying to work yourself up, give it a rating 0 to 10. How upset are you? Give me, and let me see with fingers how upset you are. A 5, 6, a 5, 8. Okay. 7, 6. Okay. All right. Good. Focus on your memory. Keep it in your mind. Feel the upset, an emotion, an urge, or resistance, a push or pull. So we're going to use in hard speak, we use traditional feelings like fear, anger, and sadness, but we also use words that are not traditionally used for feelings. Pull is one of them, but we turn it into a feeling. So pull is a holding on, a drawing in. It feels like a no. No, no, no. So I'm going to ask everyone to hold on with their hands or their arms or both. Come forward and contract and feel the inner no. Dig in your heels. Feel the resistance. Feel the no. I don't want to. I don't want to. You can't make me. No, 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 no. Feel all your inner no's. You don't have to focus on that memory. You could be at anything. Feel the inner no's. No, no, no. Ugh, no. All right, one more big no, and then open up again. Eyes closed, but head back, shoulders back, chest out, palms open and up. And whatever it was you were holding on to, resisting, just let it go now. And not only let it go, feel it go. Feel it melt from every cell of your body. It's like, oh, there it goes. Thank goodness. And feel it drain from every corner of your mind. And in its place, there's a lovely sense of freedom waiting to come in. So draw freedom in now. And fill that space with a sense of freedom, like you can fly, free as a bird. Be free. That's my favorite feeling. And then bring your mind's attention to that painful memory. And once again, try to get upset about it. Sit with it. Try to work yourself up. Try to build it up. Try to even exaggerate it. And then rate it 0 to 10 on how upset you can get. And give me fingers as far as how big it is, that upset. 1, a 0, a 2. Well done. Well done, a 4. Okay. Good job. Now, any of these little demonstrations that we've done, we can, in a real session, I would want it to be a 0 I wouldn't leave it at the 1. Actually, 1s and even 0.5s, thank God it's okay. There's a lot of juice in a 0.5, a lot of emotionality. All right, so I'm going to share screen again. Where are we here? All right, so basically, who needs heart speak? Anyone with chronic or recurring physical symptoms. A symptom has to be triggered by something. If it's not a physical stress or a chemical stress, it's got to be an emotional stress, right? Anyone suffering with an emotional pain or upset, anyone that has pain or trauma in their past, all humans, needs heart speak. Anyone who gets triggered, those trigger people that have anger problems, automatic reaction, lash out, like, oh, I don't know why I said that to my child. I shouldn't have done that. Anyone's under stress, and who isn't these days? Anyone with a condition that worsens with stress. Basically everyone. Humans need heart speak. Now I'm going to share with you a couple of tools real quick. Let's do this one. This is my favorite, the expansion tool. This is something that you can just take away and use. I'm going to ask you to pick. We can do this with pain, but let's do stiffness. Like right now, I have some stiffness right here at the top of my back. Find some stiffness that just is like, just tight. We won't rate this one. We don't have to rate this one. Just notice, just remember. All right, this is the tool. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and go right into the center of that stiffness. And then in your mind's eye, imagine pushing the stiffness like you're blowing up a balloon. Push it out wider and expand it. And expand it even more so it's encompassing your whole body. Now it's beyond your body. And now push it out to the whole room, all sides, front, back, side, top, bottom. Keep pushing. The whole house, make it as big as the house. Keep pushing, keep making space, push, push, push all the way around, 360 degrees, all the way around. And then push it out to the whole neighborhood, and the whole town, whole city, whole region. Keep going, keep pushing, whole state, territory, province, county, whole country, keep going, whole continent, keep going, whole planet, past the moon, keep going, past the moon, past every planet in the solar system. Keep pushing it out there, keep pushing all the way around. And past all the stars in our galaxy. And then past every star in the universe, the whole universe, past every star known and unknown, and expand it all the way out to the ends of the universe. And then enjoy that expansion for just a moment. Just see what it's like out there. And when you're ready, and I know it's nice out there and they don't want to come back, but when you're ready, come back and check out that stiffness again. And tell me what anyone want to say what they noticed? Give me a thumbs up if it's better, it's improved. Yeah, good. Excellent. Cool. Awesome. And you can use the expansion tool anytime. If you're upset, spend some time out in the stars. If you're going into an important meeting, if you're like an interview comes to mind, just expand. It just changes the perspective. Or if you're having a discussion, expand. Really good. So, what's next? Really just start to feel. Start noticing your feelings. Start noticing, and don't worry about what it is you're triggered by or reacting to. Just start noticing your feeling. Oh, look at that. I'm a bit edgy. I don't know. Tendency is like, I wonder what that's about. When I ask you just to notice the feeling without going into the why. You can always take Heart Speak Light. Heart Speak Light actually doesn't use muscle testing, but I actually know people that use muscle testing with Heart Speak Light too. So whatever, I don't teach it in Heart Speak Light. There's Heart Speak Level 1 coming up on the 9th, that next 2 weekends time, which is pretty exciting. It's on the Saturday and Sunday early crack of dawn morning in Queensland. Like, I think I start 6 to 10 or something like that. That blue box is the level 1. A monthly meetup too. Whoops, where's the monthly meetup one? Oh, there it is. Okay. So every month we have a meetup. I do online guide people through online clearings. It's free. Everyone's invited. You can come. Get rid of some stress, get rid of some emotions. That's this one here, the purple. The pink is level Heart Speak Light. The blue is level 1. And consultations. Now, Josie's a practitioner too. That this green one is how a try Heart Speak session. You can try that. We have a special try Heart Speak session. You just give it a try one-on-one. You can find me on Facebook here, and you can find Heart Speak Facebook page there. Check out our website. We just got it redone. We're very excited about that. And that is, and then just start feeling. Do we have a few minutes? Because I just want to actually stop share. Okay. We have a couple minutes. Do you want to know how Heart Speak works? Because it's really kind of fun. It's very simple, but it uses complex, interesting neuroscience. Okay, so it all has to do with how long-term memories are formed. When an event in our lives becomes important enough, it goes from working memory, it gets stored into long-term memory. And then when that memory is triggered again, either by we trigger it or a sight or a sound or a smell, that memory goes from long-term memory into working memory. We use it. Oh yeah, I remember that. La 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 la. And then, okay, we're done with it. Then we store it again and put it in long-term memory. However, on the way back into long-term memory, there's a window of opportunity where we can change it slightly. And we do. We change it slightly and store it. And then when that memory is triggered again, we bring it from long-term memory, put it back into working memory. And guess what? It's the one we stored last. It's not the original one. So we can, and then when we store it again, we can change it slightly. So when this can happen over and over again, and it can change ever so slightly each time we store it. It's like playing telephone or Chinese whispers as a child. The story the last kid hears could be completely different than the first kid. The memory, and we know this is actually neuroscience fact, memories are inaccurate. So we're going to make use of that fact. So there's also 2 kinds of memory. There's explicit memory and implicit memory. Explicit memory are the facts, the details. I fell off a bicycle, I was 7, I broke my arm, had to go to hospital, blah, 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 blah. Then there's implicit memory, or the feelings. Most memories, long-term memories, have both explicit and implicit memories. And some people say that we don't remember the facts unless there's a feeling associated with it. I'm not so sure about that, but regardless, explicit memories, they're mediated by two different parts of the brain. Explicit memories mediated by the hippocampus. It's fully formed around the age of 3, and it deteriorates with time and with stress. When we're stressed, we can't remember facts. Remember that? Remember that from school? Right. Implicit memory, on the other hand, is mediated by the amygdala. The amygdala there's cells that will become our amygdala at day 1 in the womb. Amygdaloid cells, day 1, after 24 hours after conception, there's amygdaloid cells. So we're making implicit memories from the womb. And implicit memories increase with time and stress. This is why people with PTSD do not get better with time, and things get worse with stress. Because we know that memory is inaccurate, in Hearts Week, we don't worry about the facts. We don't worry about the explicit memories. That's why I have you evoke an implicit memory, a feeling. We keep evoking the feeling, the sadness, sad, boo hoo hoo, oh, it seems to have lightened, and oh, that's better. And then when we're done with it, before we store it again, let's focus on what? Peace. Let's put peace in there, that long-term memory slot. That's better. So the next time that memory is triggered, it's going to more likely to bring up peace than sadness. And you do that enough times, and you're going to change your whole emotional outlook. And one of the coolest things also is that we do not know where long-term memory storage is. We know how it's mediated in the brain, but we do not know where it resides. There's a theory that it's in the fascia, which is why when we do heart speak and we release it, oh, that feels better. Fascia is everything that lines every organ, tissue, cell of the body. That's heart speak. Simple, but based on very sound science.
That is wonderful. Yesterday, I was listening to a webinar, and the theory was that memory is in the water in us.
Interesting.
Mind blowing.
I'd love to listen to that. Can you send it to me? I'll text you.
No, I can't. But it was Dr. Zach Bush from America.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that guy. All right, I'll make a note of that. Zach Bush. There's a pen here. Cool. Yeah, we don't know where long-term memory actually is, which is interesting. H2O. Cool. Thank you, Heather. Any questions at all? Any comments? How do you feel? Bit lighter? Bit more relaxed?
I just wanted to say, Anne, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to you, and I thoroughly enjoyed you sharing your vulnerabilities, which a lot of doctors don't feel at all comfortable sharing, and that was very impressive for me. And I'm an empath, but I didn't know what an empath was from my generation. And you used the word ridiculed and so forth and so on. And sometimes, like when I was busy, like we all get very busy, we're so overwhelmed. I can relate to you saying you just couldn't work it all out. I could absolutely relate to that. And the exercises that you showed us really helped me. There's something that I've done in the past. It's about the mind, heart, and gut, the three brains in the body, and I've worked with those as well. but something that you've just said just in the last 5 minutes is that people with PTSD, now I just need to clarify because I'm a person that's got to get it right.
Yeah.
Don't get
Generally
any better. Don't
with
get any better time. And I just wanted to ask you, what do you really mean by that?
Yeah, like I practiced in Townsville for many years, and there's a lot of Army up there, and
Yep.
they would come back from East Timor or wherever they were, or Afghanistan, and they would, you know how guys are, they just, sorry, Greg, no, but it is true. They just, stiff upper lip, right? I mean, they're gonna, they're just gonna just put, just head down, and they don't face their demons really. And a lot of times they will actually get worse and worse and worse, and I've seen it time and time and again, where if they come back, they don't deal with their issues, and then the 3, 4, 5, 8 years down the track, now they're their wife abusers. I mean, it's not a singular event. It's a lot. So if you ignore it, it doesn't get better. You have to actually take the steps to deal with trauma.
I understand what I understand. And having worked in mental health, I've worked with quite a few vets that got PTSD.
Yes.
But it's not and I think most people only relate PTSD to the Army and to
No.
soldiers, and
No.
it fits in nursing, it fits in
Teaching.
response teams and teaching. Did you say? Yes.
Teaching.
And but years ago, back in my generation, they didn't have the knowledge to be able to deal with people who had PTSD. Yeah. So what I just wanted to clarify, if people are prepared to do the work, I believe that people can get better.
I do too. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
then.
it doesn't get better with time. If you can't just wait it out. Oh, it'll get better. It doesn't. That's what I meant.
Is that what you meant? Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Clarified.
Yeah.
Okay,
it doesn't get better by just give it time. That doesn't work.
No, I got it now. Thank you.
And you would have seen like the paramedics and all, like you would have, they get PTSD too. However, they're really good at dissociating. They don't even know it. Have you seen that? Yeah. They don't even know it. And then that's a whole nother story.
Yep. But thanks. I just needed to clarify that. Yeah, just
yeah. Sure.
But I loved your the talk. I just loved it. Thank you so much.
Good. I'm glad. Thanks, Diane. Come along our monthly meetup, 9th of
October.
I made a screenshot, and I will post it in the event, so so you can see.
Oh yeah, cool.
Thank
you.
When the event is.
QR codes, yeah.
But I really would. I mean, I have to say I don't make enough time, but I went to a few, and it's really useful. It's really useful to go along and see how it all works, and then you get to practice as well. And as Anne said, you have to acknowledge your emotions, whether it's anger, happy, disgust, or sadness. It's all part of you. Mm-hmm. Does anybody else want to say what they took out for today? Greg, did you enjoy it? Did you take something away?
Yeah, I did really enjoyed it. It was very interesting, and thanks so much for the talk. I like the I suppose I don't feel like I'm under super amount of stress, but I still get sort of memories of different episodes in childhood, which is very annoying. So I guess it's a tool to try and get rid of them, so they're there to be resolved. And I get a lot of dreams about different stages of my life. So there's still issues there to clear. So now I'm thinking I can use this technique to work with the dreams.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always more to work on.
Yeah, always. Never seems to end.
No, it doesn't.
Only ends when you pass away.
You.
That's
What's
We
that?
don't even know what happens. We don't know if it ends then. I think it comes with us.
Who knows? But at least you're free. What about you, Alex? Did you want to say something before you go?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It really resonated with me. I have been exploring the emotional body and trauma and where it's stored over the past 2 years for my work and for myself. I think what I love about this is I've been exploring somewhere it's more like a three-way conversation, and I always felt like it doesn't have to be always a conversation. I feel sometimes people need the movement or just a physical way of releasing it, and you don't have to make it a 2-hour conversation with the person that abused you, because I find it nearly re-traumatizing for some people, and it didn't quite sit quite well for me. I know it works for other people, but for me, working it even in my sessions. So this is for me much more, because I find, movement, children learn through movement, not just brain gym. Even just a little bit before, I was a brain gym instructor working with children. So of course, movement also releases it, and I do like the idea of bringing the movement with the feeling. And then, I often, before I even heard about this, I often replace hate or any feeling with love or peace. Like, I take it out of the body, I replace it with peace and love. So for me, it really resonates how I feel like I work anyway. So this is really beautiful. So thank you for sharing your work.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely interested to follow up more, please. Yeah.
Thank you for joining from Europe. Yay.
Yes. It does have to be a good time for me, not in the middle of the night.
That's
okay.
Good. It's better to
Yeah.
this time, eh? What about you, Catherine? Did you want to say something or share something?
Oh, I loved it. And I do body work. So the fascia is what I work on: soft tissue therapy, Bowen therapy, craniofacial, and the research has directed us all to that too, that we hold trauma in the body, and that I often send clients to a kinesiologist friend, because even though I've done a little bit, I don't feel that skilled in and being able to really remove as well as Amy does. So I would like to perhaps learn a bit more. This sounds great in terms of maybe just having a couple of the tools to actually add to the end of a treatment. So I don't, it's not my responsibility in a body work it's often just people come with physical pain, but I always know it's more than that. It's never just the physical elements, always emotional. And because I don't really feel 100% skilled there, I often outsource there. But I would like to learn a bit more about this, because I think I could perhaps combine some helpful tools. People are open to doing an extra movement or two, because often they go, "You fix me," and I'm like, "Can't fix you. You have to do extra. You have to do a bit more yourself." And for myself, that was really interesting. And there were so many things I wanted to release. Heaps. I'll have to come. Definitely have